It's not every day that you scan the sports headlines and you see one that really catches your attention. You see one that makes you go, wow. One that makes you say, I didn't see that one coming. And I've talked about it briefly on the podcast a few times as far as the subject matter at hand, Tom Brady, his reluctance to negotiate a new deal leading up to the news that we heard on Sunday that, yes, Tom Brady and the New England Patriots have signed a new deal. 2 years, $70 million, one that will pay him through his age at 44, through the age of 44. And there are a lot of really unique parameters to this deal that I found to be very, very interesting. And it involves the year-to-year money that he will make. $23 million this season, $30 million next season, and $32 million in 2021. It's a lot of money for a 42, 43, 44-year-old quarterback that will ultimately decline. It's just the facts. Father Time is undefeated and undisputed. And for as many players that there have been that have tried to stand the test of time and beat time, go against time, Tom versus time, literally the name of his Facebook Watch show, there are more players out there that end up face down in the grass, or in the case of football, in the case of combat sports, face down, in a pool of their own blood, unfortunately. And or in just complete, knockout loss mode, reeling from a big knockout. And I think that is inevitable. Maybe Tom Brady it's inevitable that Tom Brady will face that, but maybe Tom Brady will do better against that than most. But regardless, he will face those age-old questions of, is this guy done? Is he out of it? Is this it? Is this the end? All these age-old questions that we ask ourselves as sports fans, when will we see that impending end of Tom Brady? And I really didn't think the Patriots would do this. And I think that this is another telltale sign that the New England Patriots just simply do not know how to handle this situation. Now, are you going to let Tom Brady walk? No. Are you going to let Tom Brady play in another uniform? If you're the New England Patriots, if you're Robert Kraft, hell no. That would be a nightmare for Robert Kraft to see Tom Brady playing in another uniform. That's basically his adopted son, if you will, due to everything that Tom Brady has done for that organization and for the game of football. Robert Kraft does not want to see that guy play in another uniform, and I understand that. I get that. But this is a little much. I mean, this is a little crazy to me. This popped out at me. Yes, Tom Brady, best quarterback of all time, no doubt about it. Yes, Tom Brady, 6-time Super Bowl champ, Super Bowl MVP multiple times. I don't even know how many Super Bowl MVPs he's won. It feels like he's won an MVP every Super Bowl he's played in. I know that's not true, but it just feels like that. Just feels like that, to the fact that he is always the story of the Patriots. Always. It's always him. Whether they have Julian Edelman, whether they have Wes Welker, whether they have Randy Moss, whether they have Junior Seau, whether they have Richard Seymour, whether they have all the Dante Hightower, all the players that they've had contribute to these Super Bowl championship teams, Tom Brady gets all the glory, and I get that. That's the day and age that we live in as far as the position of quarterback within the National Football League. Those are the guys that get the exposure. Pat Mahomes, coming off a 50-plus touchdown season, his first season as a starter, second season in the NFL, that guy's on the Madden cover, which is something that everyone wants. Every player of fame wants that, and Pat Mahomes got that. So, what does this all mean? And as far as Tom Brady's contract of getting the 23, the 30, the 32, I can never remember a time where a quarterback that old made that much money. Can you guys remember a time where he made that much money? I cannot. I cannot. And there are a lot of different parameters to this deal that really jump out at me as far as the structure. And we're going to go right to Sport Track to get it. Or Spot Track to get it. SpotTrack.com. But one thing I have noticed is that you have a lot of analysts out there saying, oh, Tom Brady's going to do some damage to his legacy. What? His legacy is not going to get damaged. There's no way of damaging his legacy. His legacy is fully intact, fully there. Ian Rappaport reported this is essentially a year-to-year deal, though. So, okay, he gets paid the $23 million, and then he gets the $30 million. Then he gets the $32 million. Basically, the average salary of those 2 seasons at $70 million. $35 million per year for a quarterback that's 43 and 44. I don't care if you're Tom Brady. I don't care if you're Brett Favre. I don't care if you're Peyton Manning. That is crazy to me. But as a Buffalo Bills fan and as a football fan, I know just as much about the Patriots as I do the Dolphins, as I do the Jets, because those are the teams that, as Bills fans, we got to circle those teams on our calendar when the schedule comes out every single season. Those are the 6 games that are the most crucial in any team's schedule, the divisional opponents. And Tom Brady is going to be playing on a team full of bums, full of scrubs. This is probably, on paper, the worst Patriots team that I could ever remember. And it's not an indictment on any of the players on the Patriots that are talented, the Sony Michels, the Julian Edelmans. But Kyle Van Noy, Bill Belichick will figure it out. He'll do his best to figure it out. But, man, this team does not have a lot of talent on it. There's not a lot of wow factor players on this team. And I've alluded to this many times before, Rob Gronkowski being completely and totally out of the picture. There are reports out there that eventually Rob Gronkowski is going to come back. I can tell you with the utmost certainty that is not going to happen. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I got pretty good word that is not going to happen. As good a word from as good a source as any that is not going to happen, that he is done, that he saved his money, he made his money, he had a great career, won 3 Super Bowls. There's no need for it. There's no need for it. None at all. So you lose that major piece of your offense. You really don't have many wide receivers to speak of. We can go down the list right here, right now. We can talk about this. We can say, who is really on this team? And I don't see anyone that really makes me think that this team is going in a positive direction. I mean, what would make someone say, whether it's Tom Brady or whoever it is, that much money for a 42-year-old quarterback? For a 42-year-old quarterback. Running backs, Brandon Bolden, he's been there a while. Rex Burkhead, Damian Harris, Sony Michel, and James White. I like the running backs, but the wide receivers, Braxton Berrios, Philip Dorsett, Julian Edelman, Maurice Harris, N'Keal Harry, Dontrell Inman, Cameron Meredith, Matthew Slater, Demaryius Thomas. Okay, Demaryius Thomas, Cameron Meredith, N'Keal Harry, and Julian Edelman. Dorsett's got some skills, but I mean, are these household, bona fide Pro Bowl caliber wide receivers outside of Edelman? No, they are not. Tight ends. Let's see who's fitting the bill for Rob Gronkowski. Steven Anderson, Ryan Izzo, Andrew Beck, Lance Kendricks, Matt Lacoste, and the ageless wonder Benjamin Watson. None of those guys have a quarter of the talent that Rob Gronkowski had. They just don't. And like I said, it's not an indictment on those guys. Those guys are NFL players for a reason. But for the first time since 2009, Rob Gronkowski will not be out there. And I think that matters. I think it also matters that you just paid a 42-year-old quarterback all that money. And what has he got around him? Now that you've paid that quarterback that much money, you say to yourself, what has he got around him? Josh Gordon could be a possibility. Josh Gordon, I believe, filed for some sort of reinstatement, which could 100% change the face of the AFC. But the Patriots are operating as if Josh Gordon is not there. They're operating as if he won't be around. N'Keal Harry was a receiver that I really liked as far as rookie receivers in the 2019 NFL draft class. He was somebody that I thought, wow, he's big, he's strong, he can run routes real well, can catch anything with his body, uses his body a lot to catch balls. I think that is kind of what the Patriots have needed since Randy Moss left the building. It's what they thought they were going to get when they signed a Chad Johnson. I think they haven't had that in a long time. Chris Hogan, guys, left the building. He's in Carolina now. Chris Hogan, one of the better route runners. Chris Hogan, 7'11", always open. I can't tell you how many times he had a clutch touchdown for Tom Brady, one of which sent me to a fantasy football championship. The Patriots are playing the Baltimore Ravens. I had Brady and Hogan on that team, and Brady launched a deep one to Chris Hogan, wide open, touchdown, bing, bang, boom. I'm in, and I'm ready to rock and roll. But it's safe to say that you got a quarterback that his best years are behind him. I mean, whether or not Tom Brady plays these next 3 years is at a high level, I can only judge by the now and say that Tom Brady is one of the two best quarterbacks in the entire National Football League. In my opinion, with Aaron Rodgers, I think those are the best two, but you got a new era of quarterbacks in the NFL that are locked and loaded. Pat Mahomes, Mitch Trubisky, Deshaun Watson, Josh Allen, Sam Darnold, to name a few. And they all have the ability to move in the pocket. Tom Brady is one of the most unathletic quarterbacks to ever play in the National Football League, and that's what makes him such an anomaly, such a rare talent. So Tom Brady's best attribute is the fact that he can drop back and get rid of the ball quickly. That is the best attribute that Tom Brady has. Not his accuracy, not his arm strength, not his athleticism. His ability to drop back there, read a defense, and get the ball out. That's what Tom Brady has done for 19 seasons. And that's what the Patriots are hoping he can do for the next 3 years. I think Tom Brady's senses will always be there. The last thing to go is the mind. Usually the first thing to go is something physically from your game. And Tom Brady will lose things physically from his game. Maybe touch on his passes, maybe timing on his passes. And those things I've already started to see change within Tom Brady's game. Have they affected the Patriots in the wins and loss column? No, not yet. And I say not yet because Tom Brady had some weapons around him. You had Hogan, you had Gronkowski. Now you don't have those pieces in place. Now you do have a trio, maybe a quadruplet of running backs that can play at a high level. And I think the Patriots will be more reliant upon the run game more this year than they've ever been before. And maybe that's the plan. But if that's the plan, I'm not paying my quarterback $32, $33, $34, $35 million a year to rely heavily on my run game. They're paying Tom Brady for what he's done, not what he's going to do. And as a Buffalo Bills fan, as a podcast host, I got to say that this news brought sheer joy to my eyes. Not the fact that Tom Brady is going to play these next 3 years. That sucks. I wish the guy would retire. But knowing that the Patriots are paying him that much money, that he won't be worth it, and that this situation is just not one that I would be as enamored for. And more so if the Patriots had a legitimate quarterback waiting in the wings for Tom Brady, if they had somebody like a Jimmy Garoppolo, if they had somebody like, who they had in Jimmy Garoppolo, or if they've replaced Jimmy Garoppolo with somebody better than Jarrett Stidham, I would say to myself, excuse me, I would say to myself, don't be worried, Patriots fans. You got a really good backup plan waiting in the wings, ready to contribute. But they don't. They don't. And if Tom Brady goes down, if Tom Brady gets hurt, then what? Then what do you have? You have a situation that's not that great. A situation that is just not conducive to the franchise. And I won't complain about that because no team has reigned over the NFL more than the New England Patriots. No team in NFL history. But I wanted to definitely hop on here and talk about this today on the show. I think that this is massive news. I think this news is massive. There's no need to even dive into the just weight that this news holds. And all the news that this is a 3-year deal. We get news that Tom Brady's selling his house. We get news that this is happening and this is happening. And then all of a sudden, there's this new deal. And I think that this news is huge. There's no question about it. Tom Brady, I think, will have some very interesting stats in his time. Brady went on to say that it's a unique situation that he is in. Quote, I'm in the 20th year with the same team and, 42 years old, pretty much uncharted territory for, I think, everybody. Field Yates of ESPN reported the 2 years of Brady's extension are void years. This deal is about 2019. Brady gets a raise, while the void years allow the team to create cap space this season. Adam Schefter reported that even though Tom Brady is signing a 2-year extension, he always will be on a year-to-year deal with the Patriots. Deal can and will be adjusted each year as long as Brady plays. Mike Reese went on to explain that Brady gets an additional $8 million on top of his original 2019 salary, meaning $23 million in total. They added 2 more years onto the deal, Mike Reese noted, but those years are actually void years. They're there for salary cap purposes. Okay. They actually don't exist. It's similar to what the Saints did with Drew Brees back in 2016 when they signed him to a 5-year extension, but it was really a 2-year deal because it included 3 void years on the end of it. They're going to be back at the negotiating table before the end of the 2019 league year. Brady's salary cap hit for the Patriots is actually lowered by $5.5 million in 2019 due to Mass Live reporter Andrew Callahan called it cap gymnastics created by the void years. For now, Brady got a pay raise and the Patriots freed up some valuable cap room. Okay, then everything I just said is somewhat of a moot point, but it's still in signing. It's still in writing that these next 2 years are essentially void years. But why? So my point isn't a moot point. My point is, why? To free up a couple $1,000,000, who are you going to go out and get? My end-all, be-all point, if you can't tell, is that who are you going to get for $5.5 million in free agency right now that can really make that much of a difference to this team? I don't know. Here in August, I don't know. But either way, I can't wait to see how this story plays out. This is one that will be very, very, very interesting to tune into and see in the coming years. Thank you for tuning into the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. I'm Ryan Thomas. This was the Thomas Take Sports Podcast presented by Trainwreck Sports, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. You can follow me, subscribe on those avenues. Tune in on trainwrecksports.com. You can also subscribe on Apple Podcasts and follow on Spotify. And also join the takeover. Why not join the takeover by following me at Ryan Thomas Take on Twitter and Instagram. Take care, everybody.